I'm going to call today's meeting for the Redevelopment Authority Board to order. So first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you could all stand and recite after me. Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Do we have any citizens who wish to be heard? Hearing none, we'll move to the next order of business, which is the approval of today's agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? All right. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Approval of the minutes from our June 9th, 2025 regular meeting. You all have had an opportunity to review those in the packet. Do I have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And then we have approval of the special meeting minutes from the June 2nd special meeting. Again, a copy of those was circulated to the board. Do I have a motion to approve? All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All right, thank you. Do I have any opposed? Hearing none, that motion carries as well. So moving on to the next order of business, we have our finance report. Ms. Stecker.
So this time you don't have the typical financials that you normally do in your packet, but I do have some just verbal information for you. As of today, we had matched our income statements from January through May of this year in Blackbaud system. So now we just need to schedule a walkthrough of the bank reconciliations for June and July to get us up to speed on that. As far as revenue that we had received for the month of June, we had received a little over $68,000 from the Erie County Department of Planning for the whole home repair program and Act 137 funds. We received $75,600 in LHRD reimbursements and a little over $51,000 from the land bank.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the board?
No.
All right. Moving on to you, Aaron, report of the executive director. Looks like the first order of business was a solicitor's report, but I don't see Attorney Sundberg.
Yeah, he's on vacation.
Okay.
So he informed us he won't be able to be here.
Okay.
So we provided the report for the board. Nothing out of the ordinary. Quite a few properties going through the eminent domain process currently in several varying stages of acquisition, along with a couple that are on the agenda for today. No major items of note as far as that goes. Everything seems to be going along. There is a few properties that have individuals who are appearing to want to contest our eminent domain action against the property, but we'll wait to see if that actually comes to fruition, if they retain counsel or how that goes. So
Is that just based on valuations?
No, there's one individual, the number two, that as in the past has made mention that there's an attempt to and has been to rehabilitate the property, which our documentation clearly shows there's been no attempt over a long period of time. And so there's been mention of retaining counsel and asking for an extension, but I have not seen anything. And the extension was supposed to be granted through July 11th, so we're now 3 days past that, and I still haven't seen it. So
Okay. No further correspondence received on it?
No,
Okay.
no. So we're documenting, we're preparing in case we do end up in court, but at this point, I don't foresee that going anywhere. So just looking through here to make sure. Number 8, that property, correspondence last Friday between Gene's paralegal and the owner's mother. It appears we're going to settle out with that one and do deed in lieu of condemnation. So looking at August, probably, hopefully, if everything goes well, we're settling out for the appraised value on those two properties, and we'll do a deed in lieu of condemnation, hopefully in August. I think that's it. 10 and 11, we satisfied some relinquishment agreements that were held on the properties. 21st Street was some time, probably, I think about 5 years close on that one, but we finally satisfied those relinquishment agreements and transferred title back to the condemnees. Yeah, that's about it. I'll
The
touch on.
signed sales agreements, are those all vacant property, or are they?
Yeah, they're all vacant parcels.
Okay.
A few of those are recent demolitions and site restorations. There is, I think, 4 of those which are part of the 21 properties that we went through that long process of clearing up that 5 years of tax issues and that on those properties, so we can finally convey them. I think 3 of those had been under perpetual lease agreements with neighboring property owners because we were unable to sell them because of title issues. But since we got those taxes and title issues all cleared up through, our tax resolutions and Gene's work with the multiple amount of solicitors to get water liens and probation liens removed, we're able to finally convey those and get those officially over to those individuals.
Is it to adjoining landowners then on
Yes.
all of those? Okay.
Yes.
Do I have any questions from the board? Okay.
And then, if no questions there, my general updates, I apologize, I didn't provide the board the monthly executive director report that I usually do. It's been a pretty slow month as far as things, just general information going forward. We have the housing rehab, property acquisitions, as Gene touched on. Other part is, we attended the Pennsylvania Association of Housing Redevelopment Agency Spring Conference in Gettysburg, which was partnered this year with the PA Land Bank Network. I feel it went really well. We had some very good sessions, on Monday as far as redevelopment authorities, but then, the PA Land Bank Network, they shoved us in probably the smallest room in the conference center, and we filled every seat and brought other seats in. But I think it was a good conversation between redevelopment authorities who are thinking about creating a land bank, redevelopment authorities who have enacted their powers to become a land bank, and then just standalone land banks across the state of Pennsylvania. I think we had a great networking session and collaborative conversation about troubles and issues and questions and things that we're all working through together. So we look forward to that. We're looking forward to putting some presentations together on behalf of the PA Land Bank Network for the Homes Within Reach Conference in December, so that we can focus on and have a dedicated track to land banking. So I think that went very well. Other than that, working through the summer months and everybody's summer vacation schedule. So
Always fun.
yeah.
All right. Any questions for Mr. Snippert? No? All right. So moving on to unfinished business and new business. We have the housing rehabilitation report. I don't see Mrs.
Yeah, Holly's on vacation.
Okay.
So I'll just touch on it. So the LHRD 2020 grant, we have completed all of the required units. We still have 1 unit in process, which is essentially just to utilize as much of the funding as possible. So at this point, the numbers are looking good. Everything will be closed out here as soon as that one project is completed, and we'll get that final closeout report submitted over to HUD. LHRD 2024 grant is up and running. Projects are in process there, along with all of the numerous other funding sources that we have. Everything seems to be moving forward smoothly. As in the past, contractor capacity and supply has been our biggest issue, and our challenge currently is trying to keep projects moving while navigating our need for additional contractors. So we do have a lead abatement supervisor class coming up. I believe it's next Tuesday through Friday. So we're looking to get some additional contractors trained as lead abatement supervisors to hopefully increase our pool of lead abatement contractors. So yeah, along with an EPA RRP class on July 28th, which is the general certification for any contractor performing work over 6 square feet on a residential property built before 1978. So we provide that training as a service to the community for any contractor, landlord, or other firm as defined by EPA that would need that certification, so, in partnership with Erie Center for Arts and Technology. So.
Any questions from the board? All right, hearing none, moving on. Looks like we have, in terms of new business, some resolutions on property. Why don't you run through those, Aaron, with us?
Yeah, so 2631 Van Buren was a property that ran through the eminent domain process, and the board provided a resolution for us to seek condemnation action against the property. We filed that, and in the midst of doing that, conversation started between Gene and his team and the owner. It's came to the point he's ready to sign the deed over to the Redevelopment Authority and do that. So there's a resolution for deed in lieu of condemnation as part of that filing of the signed deed over to the Redevelopment Authority.
And that was for both of them, or just for the 2631?
That is for 2631 Van Buren.
Okay.
3404 Burton is a property that is owned by a lady whose health is greatly declined. Her family has no interest in the property. It's a corner lot up on the corner of 34th and Burton. It's overgrown. It's a nuisance from code enforcement. So we're accepting it as a deed in lieu of condemnation. Take acquisition of it. We're going to clean the property, trim the tree that's in dire need of trimming, and hopefully either market the property or hold it for potential development, whatever the case would be. It's a fairly large lot, as those lots are in that area of town.
Okay. And do you know if any title work has been done on any of those properties or not?
Yes, both of them, title
Okay.
work's been done. There was no issues.
Okay.
So we've cleared. I think 2631 Van Buren, if I recall, there was a nuisance lien, I believe, from the Water Authority on it.
Okay.
That Gene has worked through getting a satisfaction on.
Okay, great. And so both of these, it looks like, as opposed to eminent domain proceedings, it's probably going to end up being a deed in lieu of condemnation.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any questions on either of those from the board?
No, but I did just look up the 3404 Burton property after you said the very overgrown tree. That is quite the tree.
Yes.
Trimming.
Yeah, right in the middle, and it's not in the greatest of shape, and there's a couple properties that are fearful that it would potentially fall on their property, so.
So any other questions? All right. So we'll do, let's address the first resolution. So do I have a motion to approve the proposed resolution as drafted for 2631 Van Buren Avenue, Erie County Tax Parcel Number 1856-124, and that's to allow the board to move forward with either eminent domain or deed in lieu of condemnation?
So moved.
Do I have a second? All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. And we have a second resolution for the same for property at 3404 Burton Avenue, Erie County Tax Index Number 185213-119. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, the motion carries. Moving on to other business, I noticed that we did have one citizen appear. Do you wish to be heard by the board? All right.
My name is Donald Crenshaw, and we are a builder-developer in the community, and we're excited as the Redevelopment Authority as well in receiving recently fair funds to continue the renovation of properties in the Erie area. We would like to offer continuously a partnership and a relationship with the Redevelopment Authority in carrying out these tasks. We have several properties that we have renovated. They are on the market for homeownership. We pulled 2 of them off of the homeownership side as a straight realtor purchasing, or correction, representing, and we're probably going to enter into some sort of land contract or lease purchase, because we found it's still very challenging for certain individuals to get loans approved for home ownership. So we're going to go a little different route and maybe help them to become homeowners through helping the initial down payments, and maybe carrying some paper for a while so that these individuals can be homeowners. There is a piece of property that we won't go into because it's basically into legal, which is a property that we own, that the redevelopment authority owns as well. So we both sort of own it, and it's just a matter of ultimately coming up with determined value. But I'd like to put out there again today to the redevelopment authority and Mr. Snipper that we had received, we were the largest recipient at one time of funding coming in to build and renovate and do affordable housing. Recently here, the fair funds came through. We were at the top of the list, but the redevelopment authority was the largest recipient of those funds, but we were right there at the top. And I'd ask that we reconsider all the past, look forward and say, how can we work together, work for the good of the community, and that's creating home ownership. There's a lot of different ways we can do it. There's one big elephant, I'll call it, in the room that needs to be resolved. We're both spending a lot of legal money to figure out how do we make this work, but I have personally put $50,000 into a piece of property. You can see it. Let's work together. I just bring it before the board, and Aaron, I think he wants to work with me. He's trying to work within the guidelines. We're all trying, but I think it may take all of us coming together and saying, here's a solution that we can ultimately get the property renovated, get it back on the tax rolls, and I asked the board and Mr. Sipper to think about that and how we can work that out so that we don't spend more legal fees, because right now that's where it's at. You're going to spend fees, I'm going to spend fees, but if our ultimate goal, which I think the redevelopment authority has proven with the property that you've taken and renovated and now sold on Cameron, it was a property that was on blight, then went through eminent domain and taking, and the redevelopment authority invested money into it, and you've now sold it for a very large amount. So seeing that now and doing that, if the redevelopment can say we can put 20, 30, 40,000 into a house that we basically took, you paid something for it, but at the end of the day, I think the sell price was 170, somewhere around there, the asking price. So when the redevelopment authority can say we can take a house, renovate it, and sell it for $170,000 inside Erie, in the area in which that house was actually renovated, I built over 80 homes in that area. I've invested, we put money in. Let's not redevelopment and GMA or Don Crenshaw or any of my entities, let's not fight anymore. Let's figure out a way that we can work together, because we're both receiving funding from the same agency to create affordable housing. I've done what I've said I was going to do. Let us come together, figure out a means and methods that make sense for both of us, not just me, not just the redevelopment authority. The fact that you have the ability and you definitely understand it, because you guys did a great job renovating that. I don't know if those individuals, and I don't know if Aaron knows it or not, but whether they were low income or not, if they were just market rate that that particular house sold for, the main thing was you fixed it up and you sold it. Do you recall that if they were low to mod, Aaron? And this is the challenge that I've taken on myself. Market rate, 80% and above. You can't get a house that's really decent in Erie today under $125,000, $130,000, okay? We're trying to sell houses still for $100,000. At the fact that we need to work together, and if we can sell a house for $130,000, $140,000, that's still $30,000, $20,000 cheaper than what the last house sold for that the redevelopment authority was part of. But when I'm talking about low to mod, that's people under 80% of medium income. I'm trying to sell to individuals that's 60, 70, 50% of medium income. We've done it. But with you guys' help, we can touch those individuals that are at the lower end of the spectrum that still have a desire for home ownership. And under the rental today, $1,300 for a person that's 60% of medium income, which is considered low to mod, paying that in rent, we know they can afford home ownership. It's just a matter of working out some of the other challenges. So I would wrap it up in saying, redevelopment authority, whatever we can do together, let's get together. Outside of council, we don't need council. We can sit down and talk this through and work something out that particular home on 22nd Street can be finished. Somebody can be a homeowner or a renter, as well as redevelopment authority's got a lot of properties that's become vacant now. I want to come in and say, how can we put housing on those vacant properties and keep it affordable? The last major development I did, the development cost was $140. I sold the houses for $70 to low to mod income people. That's our track record. We know what we're doing. So if the redevelopment authority can work with me, I think we have the ability, and if you look on that list of the last recipients of funding that came out of Harrisburg, I think I was the only one that wasn't a nonprofit. I'm a for-profit developer, which means I get no administrative dollars whatsoever. It means that if my programs don't work, I either go bankrupt or get out of it. But there's no reaching out asking for administrative dollars to do the exact same thing you guys are doing. So from an operational standpoint, I ask that we come together and we make this work. Is there any questions?
No.
Aaron, in terms of available properties, those are all listed, like the redevelopment authority has their own list of properties that are available for sale, correct?
Yes.
And then there's also the land bank has their list of properties. And I know that there was a recent article in the newspaper for property that was sold on, what, 6th Street?
West 6th Street,
Yeah. So those are all, I guess, different programs that are available and different avenues that are available for Mr. Crenshaw to pursue, correct?
Yes,
Okay,
yeah. Yeah, we have, yeah.
okay.
And part of the working in the relationship that we've been working on an affordable housing project almost 4 years now. Funding has been there. We're in the final stage of closing. Sometimes things take longer than any of us would like. But when you have a developer partner like myself, you have the redevelopment authority as a partner that can be there. Some things may take a little longer than either one of us would like, but if we're collaborating and we're working together, for the last 2 years, 3 years, I've received fair funds to renovate houses. The redevelopment authority just received fair funds to renovate and do different things in housing. You guys have a much bigger, larger purse string than I do, but I don't think there's a more qualified, capable individual than myself when it comes to building and developing affordable housing. I asked the city, name another developer that built 25 houses where half of the development cost was brought in from outside resources to help individuals truly afford an affordable home as home ownership. We rent a lot of houses as well. We have over 100 and something rentals, but rentals is okay in a period of your life as a stepping stone. But there's nothing like the American dream of home ownership, where you can tell people like me, I see my friend Mr. Scalise's hands is not here, prior hands, but we've developed a lot of houses out here for rental. Mm-hmm. And from the rental standpoint, there's a lot of new Americans, there's a lot of people that need rental housing, and we'll stay in that business. But I think where the real change is, I can knock on their door and I tell them at any hour they need something, I'm your landlord. But as soon as you own that door, I knock on the door, you can say, what can I do for you? If I don't want to let you in, you don't let me in. Even if there's a busted pipe, because you own it. That's what we got to work towards, making more people homeowners. And then when it comes from the standpoint of maintenance, when you own it, you take a little better care of it, I think, than if you just rent it and you pick up the phone and you call Mr. Crenshaw and say, I need this done, that done. Mr. Crenshaw's paying all the utilities. All you gotta do is come up with rent. It's nice, some people need that. But when you own it outright, and you can say to who comes in your house, it's not any of the maintenance people, it's not me, it's yours. And as long as you take care of it, you take pride in it, that's what we gotta work towards. I ask everyone, as we work towards creating the American dream, home ownership. And I just ask, is anybody on the board or aware of another developer that has built more affordable housing than me, including home ownership? In this city right now, to have built over 25 units of home ownership at a reduction price of half of the development, I don't think there's anybody that's walking through Erie that can say they've done that. Parade Street, between the east side and west side, you guys have the only all 4-bedroom tax credit project in the state of Pennsylvania, built by me right on 19th and Parade. They're 4 bedrooms with a garage. That's what you find in Fairview and Mill Creek, but we build it for affordable housing for people in the city. Across the street, you have the only net zero passive house. I pay all the utilities for all the tenants, but guess what? The utility operation cost, when done right, is less than $20 a month to heat or cool. Right now, as the heating, it's warm. Our utilities, our solar panels, our net zero passive, FIA certified, it's working. But why can't the redevelopment authority call me in and say, Mr. Crenshaw, you've done it. How can we work together that we can do more of this? We can create larger pools of rental, but more importantly, we can create home ownership. You guys are here in a position you can really make a difference. So I just extend that to any hour that you want to call a meeting. Let's come together, but let's make a difference in our community.
But also keep in mind that there are, I guess, listings of properties that are available too, that are completely at your disposal, and you can, place offers on, and pursue those properties too. So I guess, it's kind of a two-way street. So, I mean, if you have any interest in any of the properties that are currently in the inventory, whether that's the redevelopment authority, the land bank, feel free to submit offers, reach out, and Aaron could get you all that information if you don't have it accessible.
Well, I would appreciate that, and I thank you for the extension, but I would also start with the first big elephant. Let's talk, and I'll publicly state it here. Let's get 22nd Street resolved, get it behind us, that's the first one, and then all of those other houses that's out there, let's work together. But if we can't work together on one, I just throw back as in,
Sure.
What makes you think we're gonna work together on others? So let's start with 22nd Street, and then all of those other properties. As Aaron stated, they had a nice housing meeting and all set up downstate. He's gonna be doing another one, Homes Within Reach. I see him out there. Let's go to Harrisburg together, and let's bring back as many dollars as we can bring back, because I've been funded thousands of dollars in housing to build affordable housing. Redevelopment's been funded. We're doing things. Let's go down there arm in arm and say, okay, Harrisburg, PHFA, we're really trying to make a difference. You have one of the larger, only minority developers of affordable housing in Erie. We want to work with them, and we want to make a difference. Give us the funding we need to make that difference. I thank you for your time.
Aaron, could you clarify the limit on public comment by minutes?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, thank you. And who is responsible for enforcing that limit?
Typically the board chair.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In terms of other business, I know that the audited financial statements are in the packet. I do have some comments on that. I'm not sure the most appropriate section of the agenda.
Yeah, no, not, that's, I was just going to make
Okay.
a comment that, Zolkowski and Axelrod presented the financial statements last month. We did receive the bound copies, which we provided to the board members. I know, the motion last month was kind of left. They were accepted pending some, allowability for Ethan to make some comments. So I was going to say at this time, if you had comments as far as that goes.
Yeah, I did have comments. I think the financial statements in general were fine. I just have some clarification questions. I know that auditor is not here, but if they could be relayed, I'm also happy to send April an email after the meeting, just in case anything is missed. Well, I know you write fast, but I don't know how fast. So the first on the schedule of expenditures for federal awards, it shows that no ARPA funds were passed through to subrecipients. Sorry, that is page 7 of the single audit report. And so is this accurate since funds have begun flowing through during the last fiscal year to subrecipients of the RACE programs?
Recipient of ARPA funds, right?
Yeah,
I believe the answer to that is that we are the subrecipient of the ARPA funds from the city.
Okay, would I guess
So-
would the County Redevelopment Authority, for example, be considered a sub-recipient for the purposes of RACE's audit?
So talking about the loan?
Yes, yeah, I'm talking about the loan.
Yeah, so the loan was revenue replacement. Those were general fund dollars from the city of Erie. Those were technically not ARPA funds. So those were just general fund dollars under an intergovernmental agreement provided by the city of Erie.
Sure.
So, and then the only other funding that wasn't specifically given to a homeowner was the new production loan or the new production grant program, which were grants provided to, it ended up being, developers and nonprofits for a period of term under a forgivable grant. As long as they completed the terms of their agreement, they were then given grants, but they weren't sub-recipients by the term.
Got
or
it.
the
Okay,
definition.
so I guess, yeah, the ARPA dollars, I originally thought that it was revenue replacement for the city, and then the city provided city levy to the authority. Are you saying that the revenue replacement was for the authority and then that
No,
freed up?
it was the city. The
Okay.
city did revenue replacement and granted us general fund dollars.
Okay, so if that's the case, then shouldn't the ARPA dollars not be on the schedule of expenditures of federal awards, since it was city levy that came through?
That is correct.
Okay. Let me just make a note of that.
Seven.
All right, sticking with the schedule of expenditures, federal awards, should the McCain CDBG and the Pennsylvania ARPA dollars be on here or no, since they are, I don't know the exact balance that flows through the redevelopment authority, but I would assume it's less than 750,000.
Which page are you on, Ethan?
So this is not reflected in the audit. I just
Okay.
know that the redevelopment authority administers these dollars, and
Yes.
anything on the schedule of expenditures, federal awards, has to be reflected if it's over $750,000.
Yeah.
So I guess, what is our current balance that we administer through those programs?
On a yearly basis,
Yeah.
it's well under $100,000.
Oh, okay, so that answers that one.
Yeah, our yearly contract is on average around about $80,000 to $90,000, and our yearly expenditure on that is probably less than 60.
Got it, okay. Next question is on page 17. That would be the audited financial statements. I don't think this could probably be, not page 17. 15. I don't know if this can be answered here, but it only lists depreciation for real property, and I know there's furnishings and equipment owned by the authority, so I just want to make sure that the auditor is taking into account the 5 and 15-year property.
Okay.
Right. And then the last one is regarding the outstanding note payable. I assume that's the mortgage with Key Bank. That's on, sorry, page 19.
Yes.
Did the auditor have any concerns regarding the outstanding note payable? I know the last auditor didn't, but with a fresh set of eyes, it would be good to know the auditor's opinion.
They didn't ask any further about it, other
Okay.
than providing the most recent statement that we had to them.
Okay. Addressing my question. So, okay, yeah, then I guess just that one clarification and then the 5 and 15-year property issue. But again, if you'd like, I can email those to you.
That would be great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
And then no other comments.
Thanks, Ethan.
All right. With nothing left on the agenda, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We are adjourned.